Virginia Tech accused of tampering, and the coach making the accusation has got it all wrong. Welcome back. I'm Matt Moscona, the host of After Further Review on ESPN Radio in Baton Rouge, syndicated throughout Louisiana. Also the host of the Locked On LSU podcast and the publisher over at LouisianaSports.net. Here at Overtime with Matt Moscona, we talk all things college football, not just LSU or the SEC. We appreciate you for finding us. Please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. So if you haven't heard this story yet, let me give you the very quick Cliff's Notes catch-up, and I'm going to tell you why this FCS coach is off his rocker. So apparently, North Carolina Central coach Trey Oliver is accusing an unnamed Virginia Tech assistant coach of actually being on the sideline for a North Carolina Central game a year ago to recruit his running back. Now, the running back's name is Jamari Taylor, who, by the way, went into the transfer portal and committed to Virginia, not Virginia Tech. He ran for over 1,100 yards last year at North Carolina Central. Now, there's a couple things worth noting here. North Carolina Central is in the MEAC. So that's an FCS, historically black college university, HBCU school. And generally speaking, the SWAC and the MEAC, the two HBCU leagues, are, if you look at power rankings of every league, one to the bottom, the SWAC and the MEAC are generally at the bottom of every power ranking. So North Carolina Central is a good MEAC school, by the way. They won back-to-back conference titles under their coach, Trey Oliver, in 2022 and 2023. In 23, they went to the FCS playoffs and got pounded in the opening round. Again, it's just a little bit of a difference there. So it's interesting to me because, so just to finish the catch up. So the head coach there, Trey Oliver, makes the accusation to WRAL News. He said that was pretty bold. I couldn't believe it. The story starts to make the rounds. So Virginia Tech's leadership stands up and says, hey, this is the first time this has been brought to our attention, and we're going to investigate. Actually, there was a press release issued by Virginia Tech saying that they'll investigate again. And the running back here, funny part is the running back Taylor, who is a grad transfer, is now part of Virginia's running back rotation. So the Virginia Tech coach is apparently getting popped for tampering, and the running back ended up going to Virginia anyway. First of all, I can totally understand a coach being mad about an assistant coach for another school being on their sideline. In some respects, that is sacred ground. You're trying to win the game. You need the attention and the focus of all of your players. You're enacting a game plan that you, your coach, your staff, your players have worked so hard for that whole week. I get that. I get that completely. There's others that are going to say, well, this is like the Connor Stallions thing. Not exactly. Remember, Connor Stallions was taking pictures and photographs. He was trying to steal signs. Connor Stallions was trying to gain a competitive advantage for Michigan against the opponents they were playing. This is a coach, allegedly, at a higher classification, trying to lure or recruit or scout players at a lower classification that eventually are going to go in the portal and go play, hopefully, for their school. Very different. Very, very different. Again, I'm not saying a Virginia Tech coach being on the sideline uninvited is okay, but I am saying that it's very different from the Connor Stallions thing. Here's my point about what Coach Trey Oliver should be doing. He should be inviting all of the Power 5 coaches to his games to stand on the sideline and scout his players. And you may think that's insane. You may think that that's a crazy notion. But keep in mind the world in which we live. I'm not asking you to be romantic about the way things were and hope things go. I'm just asking you to exist in the reality of the now, which is if you're a great player at the FCS level, there is going to be an FBS school that is going to have a spot for you and is going to pay you money to go play for their team. It's a better opportunity. So in the same way that if you are a high school football coach, you invite college coaches to your campus. You invite college coaches to your practice, to your games, in your office, to meet with them, to talk about your players. that is part of the recruitment. And guess what? When there's good young athletes and they know that a certain high school might be a feeder into college and to give them a better opportunity to play at the next level, they're more likely to want to play at that school. Like, doesn't that make sense in that regard? Like, this has to be viewed the same way. And you might look at me and say, that's insane. You're just a media guy. Like, no coach would actually view it that way. On the contrary, if I could. About a year and a half ago, I was doing my radio show in Lake Charles, Louisiana. And I had a chance to sit down with then McNeese State head coach, former LSU head coach, Will Wade. And Will Wade, I was asked about this. I asked him about this, about players coming to his program and then going on to the next level. Listen to Will Wade's approach. Again, this is a conversation I had with, you can see the video, I had with Will Wade. This was February of 2024, about his approach and how he looks at that with his players moving on to the next level.
Different in my mind. I mean, look, we're having a lot of success this year. My kids I got kids, they're going to be out. I mean, I got one kid came to me and said, hey, such and such reached out through somebody and offered me this. I said, bro, you got to go. I said, it's time to get to stepping. I don't know why are you? I mean, I appreciate you letting me know. I appreciate you talking to me. I'm glad you ran that by me, but you got to go. And like I told him, I said, well, look, we'll use you and we'll go get the next person just like you, and we'll do the same thing. It's no different than when we were at the higher level. We were at LSU. You know, you tried to recruit kids and get them to the NBA or get them drafted. And then, you could try to hang on to a kid for an extra year maybe. But my philosophy was let them go. When they're ready to go, let them go, and then we'll sell that to the next guy. And so the same thing here. We're trying to get kids that want to go high major. We'll be a stopping point for them to get to high major. And then once they go high major, we'll go tell the next guy that we're recruiting, hey, look, this is what we did for him. We took him from here. He averaged this. Now he averaged this for us. Now he's going high major, and it worked out for him. So let's just go do the same thing. You can't be scared to just replenish and keep it going. And so I just think it's the same thing you do at the high major level, just different. Instead of sending them off to the NBA or sending them off to the G League or wherever it may be, now you're sending them to another high major program, and then you go get the next batch and try to do the same thing and then sell it again.
You don't have to like me saying it, but by the way, Will Wade won at LSU, he won at McNeese, and now he's the head coach at NC State, where he's going to win at NC State because he's a really good coach and he's figured out how to build a roster, and he knows how to pay attention to detail to all these different circumstances. So yes, I can understand a coach being upset if there was another coach uninvited on his sideline. I understand that completely. My point is, if you're Trey Oliver, you're the coach at NC Central, you're putting the word out to say, hey, if you're a high major, if you're an FBS school, please come to send a recruiting analyst, send part of your recruiting staff, support staff, send whoever you got, come watch our games, watch our guys. So they put on and put out, they'll have an opportunity to go to the next level. And then he can go recruit, because there are always going to be players at the bottom of Power 5 recruiting classes that take a chance to go play Power 5, and then riding the bench transfer, and they go on this weird, wild circumstance of transfers and all the different things when there's a better path in theory. Let me give you an example of a team that I cover every day, LSU. Look back two classes, the class of 2023. I'm looking at the 24/7 rankings. The two lowest rated players in LSU's class of 2023 were out of high school, were Jeremiah Hughes, a cornerback from Bishop Gorman in Las Vegas. He was a 3-star, did not have a national ranking. And Michael Dartery out of Logan'sville, Georgia, a 3-star who also a safety who did not have a national ranking. Both came to LSU their freshman year. In 23, neither played. Both go into the transfer portal. Michael Dartery goes to Coffeyville Community College, and Jeremiah Hughes ends up transferring to Michigan State, another Power 5. But Hughes played in just 2 games in 2024 for the Spartans. My point is, if you're Jeremiah Hughes or Michael Dartery, or the version thereof, I'm not pointing out those two young men individually because everybody's circumstance is different. I'm just saying, look at the the 3-star that doesn't have a national ranking. If you're a coach at NC Central or any FCS program or G5 program, you could say, hey, come to my school and you're going to get 200 carries, or you're going to get 1,000 defensive snaps, or whatever the case may be this season. And if you play well, you're going to get on the radar for every Power 5, and then you're going to have an opportunity to go make money. Come here for 1 year, 2 year, whatever it takes, but I'm going to play you, and you're going to have an opportunity. Or you could go to the Power 5 school, and you could ride the bench for 2 years, transfer, and then go backwards, and then try to go forwards, and now you've wasted 3 years. Like, there's a better way. And I'm not saying definitively that's what a lot will do. I'm just saying that is a path to sell. You don't have to take my word for it. Will Wade did it at a mid-major basketball program and did it successfully. You just have to be willing to recalibrate your brain instead of being so prideful to say, you're coming to take my guys. You have to think, I'm at North Carolina Central. My good guys ain't staying anyway. They're going to go for a better opportunity, and they should go for a better opportunity if they have it. Like Will Wade said about his guy. Yes, you got someone willing to pay you. Go make your money. Of course, go make your money. Go get it. Let us help you get there. And you know what that'll do in turn? Help you get the next crop of players behind him. But it's about changing that mentality. It's about changing the mentality to understand that you're not playing the same game. You're not recruiting FCS kids that are going to stay at your FCS school for 4 or 5 years anymore, especially if they're talented. If they're talented, they're going to find a better opportunity. And by the way, they should. They should find a better opportunity, because some people, I don't know what you were like, some people develop early in life, some people develop later. There were dudes in 8th grade who were like hairy legs and shaven. Some people don't come physically into their own until they're 19, 20, 21 years old. If that's the case, then when you're 17, 18 being recruited, maybe all you can do is land at an FCS school. But you go there, you get better. Nothing should be chaining you there. You should have the opportunity to advance and go make money and challenge yourself against better competition and have the chance to play at the higher level because you're good enough to do it. Look at guys like Jared Verse, was at Albany, goes to Florida State, becomes an All-American and a first-round draft pick of the Rams. Yes, like those things happen. I mean, in this day and age, Khalil Mack's never staying at Buffalo, nor should he. He's an All-American, a freak show, a first-round draft pick, and he should have had the opportunity to go make more money and play at a better school. Coaches shouldn't be stopping that. They should be encouraging that, because the reality is we're never going backwards. You're never going back to a time where there aren't transfers and there is no NIL or rev share. Like, use whatever analogy. The toothpaste out of the tube, the genie's out of the bottle, you open Pandora's box. I don't care how you say it, but it's all true. Like, we're never going backwards. It's all about how we move forwards with certain guardrails and refinement of the existing world. And the coaches that realize that at the lower level will attract the players that can help them win and help the players get to the next level, make their money, play at the highest level, and have that symbiotic relationship. So, listen, Trey Oliver, I get why you're ticked that a Virginia Tech coach was on your sideline. Virginia Tech, I also understand, like, you don't want to necessarily perpetuate that behavior. So if someone was doing that on their own volition, then yes, they should be punished for it. But if I'm Trey Oliver, I'm saying, hey guys, you want tickets? I'll leave you a stack of them, because no one comes to our games anyway. I'll leave you a stack of them at the front gate. Bring everybody you want. You want to talk to our guys? Let's talk. How we can help massage some of these relationships and facilitate this, that our guys can get better opportunities moving forward. And that would only stand to benefit his program as they continue to grow and develop. Let me know your thoughts if you agree or disagree. I can only imagine how this is going to go, because ain't nobody agrees with me on any of this stuff, but I'm the only one who 10 years ago, 15 years ago, in 2010, when that first wild, wacky round of realignment was going on, I was the only one standing up and screaming. I shouldn't say the only one, but I was one of the few standing up and screaming, we are headed to a world of contraction, of consolidation. Like, we are headed into a world where we're going to have one college football, where the top 50 or 60 buy in and play in their own league. We're not going to have conferences as we currently know anymore. Like, everything that I foresaw is happening, and this is what's going to happen as well. Will Wade was in front of it, and more coaches and more programs at the smaller level should understand it, because it'll help them win. And by the way, Will Wade's now making, a couple $1 million a year over at NC State. Not a bad gig. Good for him. All right, let me know your comments. Please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hang out with us as we continue rolling along here. It's Overtime with Matt.